Chapter 10. Josh's house, once a sanctuary of calm, was now a whirlwind of military activity. The night trumpeted with the relentless clamor of soldiers and the rumble of armored vehicles. The front door swung open and shut like a revolving door, soldiers trooping in and out with heavy boxes and equipment, each new arrival adding to the mounting sense of dread. Abigail's normally tidy room was completely disheveled. Phoenix stood amidst the disarray, his gaze roaming over the space now stripped of its personal touches. Hogan's sudden entrance shattered the quiet.
"There you are. I've been looking all over for you."
Phoenix turned. "What was that thing in the sky? What is going on? I can't reach any Angela's family member."
"They're all traitors, Phoenix,"
Hogan declared, his voice hardening.
"The entire Angelo's family. I should have seen it coming when their sons started spouting that dangerous rebel talk. They've gone underground. I had my men here within 10 minutes of the chaos at the temple, and they were already gone with the temple and the underground tunnel plans."
"No." Phoenix's voice was firm. His eyes on his father hardened. "Abigail is not a traitor. The rebels must have pressured her. You know they have the power to do that. I'll talk to her. We can work this out." Hogan's lips curled. He looked doubtful.
"Remember, son, women can be a greater weakness than you think. The Christian and Jewish vermin may have powerful weapons. It's nothing we can't crush. But a woman, she impacts the heart, which is more difficult to crush without collateral damage."
He checked his watch.
"Let's move. We don't want to be late for the briefing. There's a lot to get done."
The briefing room at the militia headquarters was buzzing. A crowd of militia officers, including Phoenix, was gathered and attentive to the presentation of maps and diagrams shared by Hogan.
"We're splitting the city into zones."
Hogan's voice held an authoritative edge.
"With the round-clock patrols. Each of you will receive a list of assignments and a roster of rebel suspects for your sector. The Kings have escalated Jerusalem's security status. Lethal force is authorized if necessary."
Ahmad, sitting a row ahead of Phoenix, twisted in his seat and flashed a grin at him, his fist pounding into his hand. In the dim, dusty, dark basement, Rachel and Abigail huddled together in the corner, their hearts pounding in time with the distant footsteps and muffled voices that echoed overhead. The air was thick with tension, each sound sending a shiver down their spines as they strained to listen. Suddenly, the voices ceased, and a heavy hatch creaked open above them, the noise reverberating like a distant thunderclap. "It's just us," came a voice, low and reassuring. The two young women breathed a collective sigh of relief as Manfred descended the stairs, his weary face illuminated by the faint light filtering in from the hatch. It was clear that he hadn't slept in days. Dark circles framed his eyes, and his hair hung disheveled around his face. Josh was right behind him and gave his wife and daughter a look of relief. He hugged them both. "They searched everywhere, but didn't think to look under the rug," he said, a flicker of a smile breaking through his fatigue. Manfred turned to Abigail, his expression shifting to one of concern. "What happened at the temple?" "I honestly don't know," Abigail replied. "All I remember was Matt putting a spell on me before he was taken away by the 10 Kings. Then I woke up in your car. Did you find Matt yet? Do you know where they've taken him?" Manfred shook his head. He pulled out his phone, methodically dismantling it with deft fingers. "We'll find him," he promised. "But first, we need to bring down their communication network. It's the only way to stop them from tracking our people." Josh, who had been quietly listening, suddenly remembered something. He reached into his pocket and produced a small high-tech memory stick, turning it over in his hands like a precious artifact. "I managed to smuggle out half of the temple plans," he said, his voice filled with urgency. "The rest are still at my house. Hogan will be after them, trying to find a way into the temple to stop those two, whoever they are." Manfred nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. "Yeah, we need to buy them some time. The more the focus is on them, the less it'll be on us. But we've got to move to somewhere safer." When it was dark outside, he managed to smuggle them out through one of the large windows at the back of the house. He got them into his SUV and covered them with blankets, telling anyone who asked that he was taking supplies to the guards around the perimeter of the property. They'd uncovered themselves as soon as they got a few miles away from the area, and now the vehicle rumbled down a rugged gravel road, the landscape scarred by devastation. Burning trees and charred farmland flashed past in a disorienting blur. Suddenly, another meteor shrieked through the sky and crashed onto the road ahead, exploding in a fiery blast. Manfred reacted instinctively, swerving violently to avoid the fiery obstacle. But the truck skidded uncontrollably and crashed into a tree with bone-jarring force. Smoke bellowed from the wreckage as the truck came to a halt. "Is everyone okay?" Manfred's voice was edged with concern as he looked around the wrecked vehicle. His hands were still on the wheel, and the memory of seeing what was about to happen flashed through his mind repeatedly. "Let's move. We've got to go on foot," Manfred urged, grabbing the radio from the dashboard. "The militia will be here any minute." Josh held on to Manfred as he got out. "What happened? What was that thing that hit the ground? A meteor? Some kind of missile?" Abigail replied, "The first of the 7 trumpets." Her announcement was met with stunned looks. Manfred rushing. "Come on, let's go!" Shaken, they all fled into the dense forest. At Josh's house, the living room bore the marks of recent upheaval. Furniture was overturned, and personal belongings lay strewn across the table. Sophia, a short Hispanic cleaner with a colorful vacuum, was accompanied by a large corporal and 3 other militia members who sat in the corner, absorbed in a card game. One of the militia members glanced up and asked with a hint of curiosity,
"What's with the room service?"
Sophia, clearly uncomfortable, replied awkwardly, "No hablo inglés." The corporal, noting the UN approval seal on the orders, nodded in confirmation.
"General wants this place spotless."
Sophia began her task, vacuuming the debris amid the mess. She was nervous, but did her best to hide it. She knew that at any moment, if she annoyed someone, they could do anything they wanted to her. The desert sun beat down mercilessly as a truck trundled across the arid landscape. It came to a halt at a rugged outcrop of mountain rock. Sophia emerged from the vehicle, her colorful vacuum in tow. She approached a rebel guard, draped in a sand-colored cloak with his hood pulled low. His voice was gruff.
"Password?"
Sophia confidently replied, "Yeshua is king." The rebel guard, satisfied with the answer, stepped aside, revealing a hidden door in the rock face. Sophia passed through the concealed entrance. Colorful tents dotted the landscape. Families moved about their daily routines. Campfires crackled, and merchants bustled. Sophia made her way toward a large tent. She ducked inside. Manfred, Josh, Rachel, and Abigail were gathered around a table, their faces illuminated by the glow of a large virtual map of Jerusalem. "Sophia, thank God you made it out safely," Manfred exclaimed, rising to greet her. They shook hands and nodded at the familiar faces. She was glad to see smiles on the Angelos families' faces. Sophia set down her vacuum with a thud. "And not just that. I managed to recover the papers our dear architect hid away before you left Jerusalem." With a practiced motion, she unlocked a panel on the vacuum and retrieved a collection of files and papers. She held them out, and the reaction from the group was very satisfying. "Oh, Sophia, you miracle worker!" Josh cried out, his eyes on his papers, as Manfred took them. "Thank you, Sophia." Manfred gave her a side hug. The sight of the documents seemed to momentarily lift the weight of their situation.